Hi, my name is Blake Say, and my topic is on mass media. The Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines mass media as a medium of communication that is designed to reach the mass of the people. Specifically for my purpose, I'll be talking about television, newspapers, magazines, anything that has photography involved with it. My main claim is that mass media's sexual portrayal of women has a negative effect on society. And my three main points that will support that is that 1, women are more sexually portrayed than men. 2, that mass media is the main condition in shaping young women and girls' sexual desires. And 3, mass media's sexualizing women increases violence and sexual harassment in young women and girls. So my first support is that women are more sexually portrayed than men. Erin Hatton and Mary Trotner, co-authors of an article discussing the sexualization on the covers of Rolling Stone magazine, state that in 2001, women were much more likely than men to be exposed and 3 times more likely to be sexually objectified. Also, while sexualized images of men have increased, men are still dramatically less likely to be sexualized than women are. And they had made a whole scale listing like the body language, the text of the cover of the magazine, if their lips are open or closed, anything to suggest that there's some sexualized content being provided. Sarah Smith, the author of an article in Sexuality and Culture, says that innuendo in the form of movements, gestures, and tone of voice is used to sexualize women's bodies. In contrast, men's bodies are more frequently the site of comedy rather than sexiness. So, for that, it is easy to see that women have been more sexually objectified in the mass media than men have, provided by this data. My second point is that mass media is the main condition in shaping young women's and girls' sexual desires. The last person, Sarah Smith, also says that these desires are shaped and or informed by the messages about sexuality and sexual desire conveyed by social institutions, including media. And the point here is that within the scripting framework and within the tradition of media studies, cultural scenarios have the potential to be instructive for learners. So basically what she's saying is that she said that most girls don't really have a basic idea of what their sexual desires are, and since mass media is so big now, that most girls rely on that and are informed by what they learn through television shows or reading magazines and what they see there. She says that popular media, including movies, are a powerful vehicle for cultural scenarios, especially for teen girls. And the 3 themes identified all suggest that the dominant cultural script for teen girls' sexual desires specified that such desires ought to be heterosexual, silent, and passive. Yet, because girls also should know how to respond to masculine desires, these scripts demonstrate what their desires should look like by relying on nonverbal expressions. So from that you can see that Sarah Smith tells her audience that mass media influences girls' sexual desires and really forms how they think. And then my third point is that mass media sexualizing women increases violence and sexual harassment in young women and girls. Carol Potera, as an author in the American Journal of Nursing, states that teenagers who watched TV shows with sexual content were more likely to become pregnant or impregnate someone else than were teenagers who watched the least. And an article on a website called Media Smarts says that the media infantilize women, portraying them as childlike, innocent, and vulnerable. With doing that, it makes the woman feel like they can't defend themselves and they'd rather just submit to what is going on. Hatton and Trotner, the co-authors of the Rolling Stone article, also state that in images where a person has their clothing around their ankles, women in such images seem stripped or exposed because they resemble rape or murder victims, while men shown with their pants around their ankles convey much the same confident, slightly challenging machismo, if I pronounce that right. So, in all, my three main points: women are more sexually portrayed than men. Mass media is the main condition in shaping young women's and girls' sexual desires, and that mass media's sexualization of women increases violence and sexual harassment in girls. You can see how each one leads to the next, and as the main result, it shapes all of what women are defined in culture today. So, yeah, my main point: mass media's sexual portrayal of women has a negative effect on society. Thank you.
Okay, Blake, structurally I think there's a lot of stuff here that's great. You've got a clear proposition, an excellent layout of the secondary points. In the body of the speech, you did a really good job transitioning between the points also. Not only do you label the points as you get to them, but you're kind of summarizing each point as you're finishing with it and then moving to the next point, so that makes it all very easy to follow. You did a good job citing the research pretty consistently and giving us the authorities on that. I was a little bit confused about the Rolling Stone study because it was unclear to me whether or not it was a study of Rolling Stone or a study that appeared in Rolling Stone. And if it's a study of Rolling Stone and its magazine covers, for instance, I think it would be addressed a little bit differently by the respondents than if it is a study that was simply being reported in the Rolling Stone. So there's a little bit of ambiguity there that I think is problematic. I do think that you did a good job explaining what the criteria were that the authors in these studies used in reaching their conclusions. I'm not sure that there's always strong proof that then takes those criteria and shows that there's a consequent action, for instance. So the idea that there's some scripting that is shown in mass media and that people learn that scripting, I think that the idea and concept there is nicely illustrated, but the degree to which the scripting is the most significant influence, or even a significant influence on how girls or young women perceive themselves and the way they're supposed to relate to others, I think that's the thing that's missing. The extra information that would make it more convincing. The presentation is okay with a couple of minor little issues, just things that you want to think about. The opening is a little precious. Hi, I'm Blake, that sort of thing. I know you're just trying to be formal, but it does come off a little bit awkward. Machismo is the word that you're looking for.
Did I say it wrong?
You weren't sure whether you nodded you'd said it right, so I wasn't sure thinking about it back, but that's the way you say it. You'll have to listen to it, okay. See if it comes out okay. Just a couple of little things like that. You second guess yourself in a couple of places, and you also suggest non-verbally some hesitation. Even though you've got a good argument and you're presenting a lot of evidence on it, it just is one of those things that kind of runs contrary to the position that you're taking. All right, thank you.